NFL shunning of Colin Kaepernick has backfired. Dombeck. If the NFL wanted to simply shun Colin Kaepernick to silence the undercurrent of unrest among its players, that plan backfired in a big way. Before an August 21 game against the New York Giants, 10 members of the Cleveland Browns knelt during the national anthem. Among those was the first white player, backup tight end Seth DeValve, to kneel during the national anthem. This comes less than a week after another more prominent white player, Philadelphia Eagles defensive end Chris Long, put his left hand on teammate Malcolm Jenkins during his own form of protest. The media attention DeValve and Long have received is a symbol of the problem the protesting players have been trying to demonstrate. It shouldn't take a white player joining the cause for the movement to gain traction. Kaepernick and other African American players have been called everything from traitors to scumbags, and many words not fit to print. The same backlash has been relatively absent when it comes to DeValve and Long, which only amplifies the message they're sending. Police brutality is something that affects all races and genders, yet is only seen as a true problem when it's not a person of color on the violent end of the exchange. Even conservative media outlets who bend over backward to attack Kaepernick and defend violence committed by the police sung a vastly different tune a little more than a month ago. Justine Damond, a white woman from Australia, was shot and killed in Minneapolis by an African American police officer July 15. The narrative was mostly the same as countless other incidents. A citizen interacted with the police, but the result was a loss of life. The normal playbook is to defend the police officer, regardless of any visual evidence to the contrary, while finding fault with the victim. This time, though, the roles were reversed, and for all too obvious of a reason. What Kaepernick, Jenkins, Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch and a host of other players are trying to bring to focus is that disparity. DeValve and Long brought that disconnect to the forefront by joining their teammates. For the first time, fans of the NFL had to think a little harder about the subject because it was a little easier to relate to them as opposed to an African American quarterback. There was even a rally outside the NFL offices in New York this past week in support of Kaepernick, including several police officers. While it might be a stretch to consider the former 49ers player a martyr, his absence from the league is only drawing more attention to a subject the NFL would rather avoid. Every day Kaepernick remains unsigned is another day the question gets asked as to the reason for his unemployment. It's blatantly obvious it isn't football-related at this point. The Baltimore Ravens owner, with his head coach and general manager agreeing Kaepernick would be a good fit, said he needed to pray about signing the free agent and asked opinions of the fans. When former Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis faced possible charges in connection with the murder, prayer wasn't needed in deciding to allow the future NFL Hall of Famer to remain on the team. We're now a year into Kaepernick's protest, as of this weekend, and despite his absence, or because of it, the issues he brought up are no closer to a resolution.